See, that's the thing the movies and the documentaries don't show you. That there is an option at one point to get out. They make it seem like you can't leave. No, you could have got the fuck out. You decided to stay and then fucking bury every one of your childhood friends. There's more money in the real world than there is on the streets. That's the best way I could put it.
In today's day and age, with technology, social media, the internet, no one should be broke today. You can make a lot more money legitimate than illegal today.
How important is this next election, federal election, for you guys, you think?
Well, honestly, people
You mean
ask,
next November?
Yeah.
people ask me about presidents.
I don't know politics.
I don't get involved in it
Yeah,
because it doesn't matter. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and we deal with it.
But I guess it matters because we're in a legitimate world. In the streets, like, don't get me wrong, I remember the David Dinkins era. New York City made money. And then I remember when Giuliani came in, he wrecked everything. Took away fireworks. Like Giuliani was hated. I don't know, people talking today how much they love him. I know people that went out and made t-shirts when he got indicted. You know what I mean? Like, he took a lot of money out of the streets for us. So it never mattered until Giuliani came in, but presidents never mattered for us. So I still got that mentality. I never dealt with politics. If they make it Republican, right, left, whatever it is, I couldn't even tell you. Because we earn money no matter what.
The only time
we just found new things to do.
The only time I cared about a president, like when you're growing up in school, you knew Jimmy Carter was a president, Ronald Reagan was a president, because you were in school. But now, when I went to jail, everybody was like, listen, if Clinton gets elected, it's going to be good for the prisoners. And
it was bad.
It did nothing.
He signed the three-strike rule.
Yeah, it did nothing.
People don't realize that.
And again, now that you're a felon, you really weren't supposed to vote. But now I heard last night,
you got your rights back.
You can vote.
Yeah, I always have my rights back.
Again,
anytime you're off parole, you just can't owe any time. You can go right back to voting. But my whole thing is with that, I watch, and it's on social media, people call Obama President Obama still. I think regardless who the president was, I never heard anybody say Nixon. And Nixon was one of the worst presidents ever, supposedly. They say former President Nixon, right? President Obama was here today. President Obama, Trump, who's one of the greatest presidents on paper. I don't know, whatever it is, but on paper, you just got to read what he's done. Since George Washington, no one put the numbers up that he did. And it's Trump this, Trump that. That's the only thing I see wrong in America, because if you talk bad about Fidel Castro when he was alive, they chop your fuck. I think everybody, even though it's a free country, you're allowed to like and not like, but when you talk about a U.S. president, I think everybody should put respect behind the name, regardless if it's a liberal, a Democrat. That was the president of a free nation. Regardless, if you don't like his politics, you don't like your father-in-law, but you still call him sir. You know what I mean? Like, how in-laws don't get along, but you still put respect behind it. So I don't like when they put on the TV, Trump was here today, Trump was there, and Obama was twice removed, and they still call him President Obama. And this guy wouldn't even meet with the Senate. You know what I mean? But aside from the politics, in America, the kids growing up see that. Donald Trump's a womanizer. How's an 11-year-old kid know Donald Trump's a womanizer? Because people don't put respect behind the name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that's where we go wrong. They don't respect their elders. Kids tell people that adults to go fuck themselves today. If I told my neighbor to go fuck myself, my mother would tell my neighbor, you have a permission to crack my son in the mouth. You had to respect your elders. You had to, even on the streets, you don't shake hands with a cop, but if he pulls you over or you get pulled in, you show that man respect until he lets you go. We were always told that. You can't be friends with a cop, you can't do this, you can't do that, but you'll put respect behind their names. Because you got to carry yourself a certain way. And you were taught that from the streets, from my house to anywhere. And that's the problem today. They don't teach their kids, fuck the neighbor, who gives a shit what he thinks? And then the kid hears that. And he doesn't even know the neighbor, but it's fuck the neighbor because daddy said so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where I think the problem comes in. I don't do politics, but I'll say former President Trump, former President Obama, and I know nothing about politics, but they were the commander-in-chief of the free nation, and I got to put respect behind their name, regardless of anything.
Yeah. It's a title, yeah. It's a title.
Do you guys think...
And that's what's wrong with the country.
Yeah. Do you guys think that like other countries, other nations right now are looking at America
Like
and
we're a
thinking that
joke.
you guys are
Like we're a
that you
big
guys are
joke.
weak, or
We're a big
The
joke.
only thing
Yeah?
that helps us,
Well, why do you
they'll
think
never
that,
think
though?
we're weak. They'll
Yeah.
think that we're going to be our own demise because we got the most powerful army in the world. Because we just keep buying things.
That's how
paying
Rome
things.
felt.
So
Yeah.
the thing is going to be is we'll just send ships and boats and planes and we'll wipe you out. So they're not going to think we're weak. What they're going to say is, let's cut them off from this or cut them off from that. Because they're just going to, they're going to be a ringworm. They're going to be a parasite. They're going to eat themselves to death. They're going to, in figure of speech, they're going to be their own demise. That's what they say. We're the weakest people in the world to them mentally.
yeah,
But they got the strongest army in the world, so they can't come after us. But they know we're all weak-minded. They know we want to be lampshades. Even though people go to other countries to get the surgeries, we're the ones looked upon as we're letting that happen. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're jokes, we're laughing. So, I mean, I talk to people from England, Scotland, and they're always making fun of America for the supersize. Everything's supersized, everything's this, everything's... So other nations feel the same way, but they can never come up against us because we just keep building bombs and, we can wipe anybody out. So anytime we fall weak like that, eventually people say, and I think it's going to be well past our time, America will fall like the Roman Empire fell.
Yes.
But then people turn around and say, the Roman Empire really didn't fall. They kept all their money, they kept all their riches, and just turned Catholic. They say the Roman Empire became the Vatican.
Yeah.
They just became religious.
It's all underneath the...
Well, that's people explaining it now. We grew up, we read the sixth-thing novel of the Roman Empire falling.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, it is logically correct. Rome just turned into the Vatican. And everybody became religious. And, like during World War II, it was a no-bomb zone, no-fly zone, just over the Vatican. The rest of the world was open season. But you couldn't bomb within the Vatican City.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, so
That is interesting.
if they show you that much power, how bad did the Roman Empire truly fall? Or they just disguise it? What do people do? They close businesses. When they go, Donald Trump used to do it real estate. Close an LLC, just open it up under somebody else's name. So the Roman Empire went down as the fierce army, the most fierce army in the world, to the most religious army in the world. Right? I mean, that's how they explain it today.
Yeah.
So, are we eventually going to be the Roman Empire? Who knows? We'll be in the ground by then. But you truly know, as left as Canada is, they're our biggest ally. Canada is America's biggest ally. There's nobody else. Not England, not France. Canada is America because we're all North America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We live in the best part of the world, like in Canada and the US. I think we live in the best countries in the world. Even when
because we're allowed to speak out against our politicians.
The fact that you can do that and be in the streets, like in other parts of the world, you'd be dead.
That's what I'm trying to say. You'd be hanging from a crane.
Yeah, you'd be
Like user from Canada. Okay.
Correct.
User from Canada. You have to think Americans and our infrastructure and what's happening now. We have one president that doesn't even know where he is. We have a former president that's every day is being indicted for
He's more
something.
indictments than John Gotti.
And we have to be the laughing stock because our infrastructure is so out of whack right now, and the things that are going on in the Senate. So even though we're the most powerful country as far as weapons, and we could just bomb people back to the Stone Age, they're looking at us like we're a joke right now.
Yeah, we're a circus to them.
That's all it is.
Same with Canada, yeah.
Yeah, but Canada as well, people are looking at as very weak.
Yeah.
Because of what everything, the prime minister can't agree with other people and people within his circle, and the woman up and leaves, nobody knows what's going on. You know what I mean? And we all know that just like media here is manipulated, as they showed you on Get Gotti, the FBI put out a fake story about the Castellano hit to get people talking on the bug. They controlled the media, the FBI. They control the media in Canada. You know what I mean? So you're only hearing what they want you to hear.
Yeah.
So Canada has a big problem with that right now because nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Oh, they're censoring. They're censoring our media. They definitely are.
We're shadow banned. Everyone's shadow banned and
Yeah,
all
that's
that
crazy.
stuff.
They loved when that saying came out, right?
Yeah.
I heard that's all I hear. I only hear about it every time I turn around and talk to somebody on a podcast. They get shadow banned.
Yeah.
Shadow banned for this, shadow banned for that. I'm like, wow, that saying really went a long way.
Exactly. Shifting back a
We
little
went into
bit.
fucking politics real quick around here.
I know.
And I don't even do politics. I'm just with politics.
Good conversations, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
no.
good convos. Yeah. Shifting back to a little bit of
I want to shift back to
life.
one thing.
Tell
Use
me.
all brothers.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't
You
know.
didn't marry each other, right? What's with the matching wedding rings?
I got married first, bro.
Yo,
talking
I don't know
about this
what's
today.
going on, man.
This guy copies me for everything.
No, I don't. We were
Yes, he
talking about
does.
this today.
Yes, he
I was
does.
talking about it right now. I gotta put
I was
this on
looking
the
for my
spot.
ring. I'm like, where's my ring? I look. He's like, that's my ring, right? I'm like, no, it's my ring.
How much you spend on your ring?
Well, look at you
Hang on,
guys.
hang on. How much you spend on your ring?
None of your
Come on.
business.
Say it.
None of your business.
Say it.
Do your wives watch this show?
Buddy, I tell my wife, you pick the ring you want for you. Get me a black ring. I don't like the gold rings. I said, and don't spend more than $50.
Oh, so your wife picked yours out, and he just happens to have the same one?
Yeah, bro.
That's how it happened, man.
Your wife picked yours out?
I picked myself out.
Oh, all right.
My own.
Wanted to be like the big brother.
You see what I mean?
Listen,
It's
okay.
okay.
That's the way it's supposed to be. You
I
go
had
on and
no
look up.
clue
But I'm
that.
like, how you guys are 4 years apart, married at different times, you got the same wedding ring on?
This guy sees
I
me
just
getting
noticed
married.
that.
It just
This guy
happened.
sees me getting married. He wants to get married. I get my real estate license. He gets his real estate license. I get.
Wait, but did your mom
saw
always
him
tell
like-
you, watch what you do because your brother looks up to you? Did you always get that speech?
Oh,
so
all
you
the
had
time.
to be like the mature one?
Yeah, they always made us tight
Right.
and stuff. And
No, but
we're
I'm saying,
very
is,
tight.
but you had to be the example. So you had to do good,
definitely
so he
was.
did good. So if he did bad, it was your fault.
Yeah, but you know the other thing is though, like what the mindset I still have. I said it to him the other day. I go, watch yourself. I go, if this was back in the day, I go, you know, I get everything. I'm the oldest.
Oh, you're the firstborn.
I go,
The
you're the
firstborn.
subservient.
firstborn.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
yeah,
the
right.
firstborn.
Yeah, I always say, what happened to the youngest gets the spoiled? Nah, the oldest gets the spoiled. My older brother never got hit. No, my mother treated him like gold. We all got the shit kicked out
That
of
was
us.
the opposite though in our household. You never got beats, right?
I got beats. I got more
For
beats
what?
than you from dad.
What?
100%.
From dad didn't like you.
Dad never likes the youngest.
Dad would beat the shit out of me.
We're supposed to be tight, and even if we argue now, we're
No,
all,
but it was always,
Yeah.
if I hung around with my older brother, whatever I did, he got in trouble for.
Because he was
he's gotta set the
responsible for you.
example.
Yeah.
He has to set the example. So you must have not been setting a good example if he ran off and did that.
yeah, no,
You
no.
always had to mimic your older brother if you were in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
setting. So that's how immigrant parents are. You don't both get blamed. The oldest gets
the
blamed.
oldest would get blamed.
Because he doesn't know any better.
Yeah, no, it's like that. But we have a, you know, I've never enforced anything on him, like on you. Like I've never said like do it this way, unless
Like
you're
Mikey, you try it.
Yeah, like in business though, like there's a certain way because I am more experienced. I've worked longer. Yeah, I'm gonna show them how to do it the right way. Of
Yeah,
course.
that's different.
That's
I mean, I'm
different.
talking about not as
But-
older.
But life wise, I give my opinion. If you're gonna go live in this particular location, it's a little bit far from. I'll give my opinion if you ask. But I could care less. Like I got my own thing to worry about.
Yeah.
But as long as we grow up tight and like as we get older, and as long as our kids can grow up together,
Right.
Yeah, we
That's
always.
it.
That's
Yeah.
an immigrant family.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. We always have each
Family
other's back.
comes before anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking about that, look what I just posted today.
Right?
Wishing him happy birthday.
DNA makes you related.
Yeah.
Loyalty makes you family.
yeah.
What did I
Oh,
post?
your story?
Look what I posted today. This is my post to him. Happy birthday to my big bro who always has my back.
In the shadow.
Yeah,
I like
that was me
and
getting-
it's
that was
funny
me
because
getting married.
You got black and he's got white. Oh, that's you in the white?
That was me in the way. Yeah. That's me in
You
the
look
way.
younger there.
Who, me?
Him.
Him?
I
You
look
look
younger
like the
than
older
this.
brother there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
That's the
opposite.
photo.
That's a pretty good picture.
Yeah. So we always got each other's backs, you know. That's what you got. That's how you got to
No,
roll.
that's good. But I'm talking about, of course, you're older now, so you know better. But when you're younger, it's hard. But my friends don't like you. You know, whatever situation you're in, you might not like the same girls in the same circle. Because that's where it gets bad. Like when your wife has certain friends and then your wife has certain friends and you just have a get together and it all mixes.
Yeah.
It kind of throws a monkey wrench in it
Yep.
because if you're just hanging out, use it a favorites. But now your wife has friends that your wife isn't friends with and become second fiddle.
So we
this
don't
is the
let-
whole
so-
thing of in-laws.
so
It
this
just-
is- so
it
this
happens
is-
for everybody. It don't make a difference what race you are.
So we shook hands on that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we said nothing gets in the way. So if our girls, they've never had a problem
And
with
they
each
never-
other.
So
But
I
see,
met
that's tough because your
my wife
So they know
today.
that you're like that.
Yeah,
They
I met
met
my
through-
wife
through my wife.
his
Oh, okay.
wife.
So they were friends.
So
she
they're
put us
friends.
into their friends.
But,
Yeah.
but don't get us. Don't get
That
it.
don't always happen.
No, but also at the same time, it doesn't. It's not like we don't allow. Like we're men that are like raised old school, and in our marriage we're old school, but we're not old school to the point of like.
Yeah.
I come home from work, I throw my stuff on the ground, make sure the food is ready, and then I'm rude to her and I'm mean to her.
No, you're a millennial when it comes to
No,
that.
I'm more
You're nice.
amicable. I'm
Yeah.
nice.
You're nice.
You're nice. But in our household, it's that she definitely knows and she agrees with it. She's on board with it. You're taking care of the house. You're raising the kids. I'm gonna raise the kids too, but I'm gonna be the one to work. You don't have to work and stuff. Like you don't like it doesn't work that way, and she's okay with it. Yeah. All her friends disagree. All her friends think a certain way, and obviously we talk about that. She's open about that because I don't want them to brainwash her. But no, she listens. She's a good girl. And she doesn't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. So
that's whatever goes on. That's your business, not her friends. They don't have to agree with it.
Exactly.
She's married to you. You're married to her. That's a different story. But what I'm saying is, like, some things your sister-in-law might not agree with your brother might not agree, and you put your foot down from the beginning, and that family comes first.
Yeah.
Blood before.
And here's the thing, I made it known to like his girl and my girl. Like, you guys are family. Like, we're going to always have each other's backs, even though we might disagree. So there could be a disagreement, but that's okay. But we never have big disagreements.
Yeah. Well, that's what this country's going to miss, the immigrant mentality. Like, the sister-in-laws become sisters. Like, that's how cousins are cousins, regardless if it's married or blood. Brothers are brothers, even if they're brother-in-laws. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
You're raised like that from the old school.
Yeah.
That's
everybody's uncle and aunt.
That's going to die out eventually.
But that's what I'm saying. So now with the new generation, when you say taking religion out, that's what it's taken out. It's taking family. Religion is family. So when you take that out, you take the family out. So the new generation's coming up. Sister-in-laws don't get along. Brother-in-laws don't get along. But with the even like we growing up, and we could fight over money, gambling, but when you come to that table, your brother-in-law's your brother, sister-in-laws are sisters. You don't say, like, I didn't know that I had half brothers until I was an adult, because we were never allowed to say that step or half brother. Brothers were brothers, sisters were sisters. I got a half sister and 2 half brothers that I didn't know. I thought they were my brothers and sisters. Right. When I got older, we learned that because in my house, it wasn't talked about. And I didn't see it in other families because other families didn't tell you their business. So you just thought everybody was brothers and sisters. It could have been adopted. You didn't learn this stuff till you got older because people kept their business in their house. And I didn't know it because I didn't see it in anybody else's family. So I thought my brothers, because they were 15 years older than me and they moved out by the time I hit kindergarten. So I just thought that was my older brother.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't know that we had different fathers.
Yeah.
He called my father Pop. You know what I mean? So I didn't, till I was an adult, I didn't know that my brothers were half brothers. And that's the respect that immigrant families brought with them. And we're not doing that today. And also about equality too, like in the real sense. Like, okay, let's say you guys are brothers, and you're the oldest. Like us, doesn't matter. I treat him as my equal. If we go to an event and I started the company and he works with me, whatever no, he's one of the owners. Yeah, that's it. If I hit big, he's hitting big. Yeah, like, that's what my brother does. He's a lot older than me. Yeah, but he don't introduce me as his little brother. He introduced me as his brother. Just your brother. And they're like, oh, who's older? They'll ask. They ask. But we never, that's the one thing we say, this is my little brother. This is my little cousin. You know what I mean? We never did that. It's my cousin or my brother. We got asked 3 times yesterday. That's what you do. Well, in the picture, it did grow a little bit. Well, I could see it here. He's a little bit younger, but in the picture, it can't tell. Three times yesterday. The border Plus, you got a suit jacket on and he's got a shirt. Yeah. That shows maturity. The sport coat. I was gonna wear a dress shirt, man. Super mature. Well, you went with the Fonz look. I forgot a belt. I didn't want to tuck it into jeans. But the border patrol agent yesterday, when we were crossing the border, the hotel check-in lady, and who was it at the M&M store? The M&M store. All 3 of them. First thing they said, "You're twins. You're twins. Oh. You're twins." No, I mean, I don't say he's younger. I say, who do you think is younger? Because I'm trying to get a compliment because I feel so old. And millennials already feeling old. Millennials. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, he looks older." I'm like, yes. I'm like, yes. But I wanted to ask us still a few things mob related, if you guys don't mind. Yeah. But you guys went off track. No, I'm only kidding. I'm pretty sure it was breaking balls over here. But something we were compiling together from other interviews we have, and I don't think we asked you guys when we went through our old interviews, is like, what was the day that really like changed your life? Like you talk about you grew up in the streets that way, that was all you knew, but like, was there a moment in your lives where you made that switch and it's like, okay, you're gonna go all into that life? Or well, tell you about my daughter. Remember we had that conversation before? I said that's when I said I'm getting out, I'm just going into the streets. But what I'm talking, getting into the streets. That's what I'm saying. That's when I went full time. As a kid, I was in the streets the whole time. Yeah. But then when I got married and had kids, I always had a union job, but it was a no-show. And I started to like decide if that's what I was going to do when my wife got pregnant with my first kid.
Oh,
So
I
I
see.
really wasn't in the streets. See, it's hard where we come from because we don't go out every day and commit crimes. We have meetings twice a week. I meet a guy. I make a move. You know what I mean? Maybe on Mondays I collect Shylock money. You know what I mean? Go collect for a card game on a Tuesday. So it ain't like we wake up at 7 a.m. and go stand somewhere and commit crime. So you can always be like, am I getting out? Well, like he couldn't get out but like I was in and out. So it was like, am I going to go to work? But I'm still going to be a bookmaker and a Shylock.
Right.
So it's not like, damn, man, I can't do this every day. We're hanging out. We're going to Vegas. We're going to Atlantic City. We're at the porn convention. We're at the porn awards. We're hanging out. You know, we're going to every restaurant in Manhattan, every club. We're just having a great time. It's not committing crime. So you never think about, I'm getting out of this. Because your whole life is, I want to be in it. I mean, my whole mentality was where I went wrong was because I wanted to be in the life, but I was in the streets, making money. Nobody knew who I was, making more money than I ever did making money in the life. I wanted to be involved in that because I was Sicilian. I wanted to get straightened out. I wanted to be with the guys that I watched growing up. And I didn't need to be. So my mentality growing up, I'm just speaking for myself, is I just wanted to keep excelling in different things in the street. As a CEO of a company, working up through Apple, I was in marketing. Now I'm the CFO and CEO and COO. You know, now that I see the structure in the real world, it's just like the street. I just wanted to keep moving up because I had a lot of respect from street guys. But not no more. But me growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, a May guy had the ultimate respect. Like, he could be broke, but walk in a place and not have to go in his pocket because there'd be 1,000 guys in there looking to buy him a drink. You know, but those are guys that put work in, not the guys that were made by fingers that people used to just push them away. So that's what I seen. And it's like, no more, you know, I got respect from the blacks, the Spanish. I'm dealing drugs in the streets. The street guys all respect me. The street owners respect me. But the top of echelon with me growing up, not today, was wise guys. I want their respect. I want the life's respect. I'm Sicilian. I should have it already. I'm first generation. Like, I deserve it more than, like, that mentality when you're young.
Right.
And like I said, when I got into the life, I made no money. I was making tons of money in the street. You know, and eventually started taking a step back from the life. I was still involved, but I went back to my roots, marijuana and moving weight and things like that. And, you know, and it's like, and I had people telling me, what are you doing? You don't need them. That's just heat. You're getting your picture taken. You're going to weddings and funerals. You're wearing Brioni suits. What are you doing? You know, you're making more money without being noticed. And I tell, people tell you, I didn't know I knew what I was doing. I'm an idiot. What do you want me to tell you? But I was chasing the button. Wasn't chasing the money. I could make money. I could walk outside and make money doing anything. I'm a hustler. I come from that. Yeah. I can make money with anything. So, like I said, I was so control. I'm a control freak that I worked 2 hours a week, and we were making big money. I just had one conversation with the guy what I needed, got him the money for the last load, and then a week, 5 days later, I get my load. That's another hour's work, and it went to one person, and then that person came back and paid me, and then I paid. So it was like I had it all controlled. So I didn't think about crime. I thought about partying, women, jewelry, so. There was never a time. I was always in the street, but there came that time in 2000 when I got married, bought a house, and had my first kid, saying, can I go to work for $100,000 a year? Now I'm 23 years old. I own a house. I'm having a kid, had a big wedding. I'm being well respected now in the life that I want. I've done everything. But when in my childhood, I always said I'd get a union job, making 6 figures and sell drugs on the side and live that kind of life. Now I have that job. I could succeed. You know, when people, I had choices. Right. They weren't the right ones.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I could, I had a high school diploma, but I didn't need one. And I'm making $100,000 a year as a laborer without even breaking a sweat. I become a shop steward. You go on to do other things. You know what I mean? I became a shop steward. I was making $90,000 a year without even showing up. And it's like, what? Now, my whole life, that's all I ever wanted. My father was a master mechanic. He could never make money like that. He was poor his whole life. And I'm like, I got it. I'm here. And I made that decision when my daughter was born. I was like, it's not enough. I got to be in the streets. So I was in the streets, and then I started going legit when I got married, and but still it was never legit. I was still gonna do things on the side. But now, do I go to the job every day, or do I stay in the streets, hang out in the social clubs, pick up other earns, other scores, other schemes? Because that's what happens when you're just around every day. Put more money on the street, get more sports customers, get more card games going, put more joker. So that's just every day. The way you're thinking about, should I buy houses, should I rent, is how we go out and think about in the streets.
Makes sense.
It's not like, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm in the streets committing crimes. You know what I mean? Everything's done over a conversation, a sit down, a move.
So it's interesting, that motivation. Like, one, it was the respect thing, and two, it was like you wanted more.
Yeah. I think if my family weren't immigrants from Sicily, I wouldn't want it. And they were totally against it. My mother loved that life, but my father hated it. So it wasn't like it was brought up and that's what he wanted me to be. He wanted me to be, it was construction work. My father didn't care. Just didn't want me to dream. He's like, because he didn't want my dreams not to come true. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we work. That's what we do. There's no school. We don't go to college. We don't become lawyers and doctors. We become a carpenter, an electrician. And back then, it wasn't paying what it was paying when I was of age. So that was his mentality. And I had to see past that. I wanted the house on the water. I wanted the Lexus. I didn't want the Honda. I wanted the Rolex, not the Movado. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those were the steps I wanted to take. But I think if I was Irish or if I was something else and I knew I couldn't achieve, because, now you could be half Irish and get straightened out. But back when I was a kid, I thought only Sicilians got straightened out. Because even Al Capone wasn't straightened out, because back then they didn't straighten out Nobili Dons. So, like, that was just, like, my whole mentality was Sicilian, And that was the only reason. That's what drove me. And don't ask me why. My father didn't it had to be because that's where I grew up. I grew up on 100. I lived on 101st Avenue my whole childhood. So that's all I seen.
Right.
And I seen guys that weren't tough with serious power. But they were killers. But I didn't know they were killers.
Right.
But I'm like, how does that old man have so much respect? He had like 10 bodies. Guys had cemeteries back then. Guys that were in the streets. And I'm watching these grown men go over to these old men and treat them with super respect. And it's like, yeah, I got to be that guy. Because I was it. But if I always thought about being in the street. I always wanted to be a criminal. So it wasn't like I wanted to be a doctor and I respected those guys. I was in the streets. So those are the guys I looked up to.
What about you, Frankie? Like, what really clicked and said, you got to be all in here?
Well, again, like Hootie said, you grow up around the neighborhoods and you're mesmerized by it. You want that respect. You want the fancy car. You want the money. So you put yourself in a position to be around that. And if they like you, they start grooming you. And again, you still have a choice when you're young. You could go to work or you could go somewhere. But once you get on record with a family, it means that, okay, now you're part of something to be something one day.
Right.
And a lot of things went on in the neighborhood for me. And one specific thing was somebody killed somebody in our club. That guy got killed. We went to California, and then we got a call back. And the call back was there was a hit on the acting boss of the family, Vicarino. He caught the move. He didn't get killed. And they sat me down like in a chair in a room, and they said, here's your options. You could walk away, go to work somewhere, just go, do whatever you want, or you can stay. You're probably going to get killed. You're going to have to kill, or you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. Take a minute. Tell me what you want to do. So at that point, I made my decision. That was the turning point where there was no turning back then.
And you knew your potential outcomes.
I didn't think at that point I was making it to 25.
I think any of us did.
Yeah.
I didn't think
when I had my 25th birthday in Lewisburg Penitentiary, I was like, I didn't even think this day was ever coming.
See, that's the thing the movies and the documentaries don't show you. That there is an option at one point to get out. They make it seem like you can't leave. You know what I mean? That's what I hate about the movies. It's like, no, you could have got the fuck out. You decided to stay and then fucking bury every one of your childhood friends.
Because at that particular moment, when that hit went bad, it started the war. And now they're gonna rally up their troops. So, now in my mind, okay, this is what I always wanted. I want to get straightened out. So now if you stay in the street, it might take a few years. You got to do this, you got to do that. Now there's a war. Now's your time to shine.
Yeah.
You understand?
It's like the old Kid Corral ladies
You understand?
back then.
Like, we're going on hits and we're fighting in the car. Who's going to jump out first? You know? And you figure you're going to move up through the ranks. And when this is all over, you're promised everybody's getting straightened out that participated. No, everybody went mostly to jail, But that was the moment for me. That's when I just made the decision, okay, this is where I'm going to go. I could have had an opportunity to go left. I stood. And that was it.
That was it.
That's why I tell people,
and that was it.
Everybody chooses the life.
Yeah.
The life doesn't choose them. You know what I mean? Even though the streets I thought chose me. You know what I mean? But then because the truth of the matter is, when I got into unions, it was to an Irish guy. So it wasn't even like my hooks up in the mob or in the streets. It was an Irish guy that I knew from my childhood. Called me up and wanted me to do the right thing because, I was getting married and having a kid. And he got me a $100,000 job back in 1996. So it was like, I got it. I got a good choice to make. You know what I mean? But I seen what I could make. Make $100,000 in a week. I'm not gonna make $100,000 in a year. And I heard somebody the other day talk about they made $3,000 a week when they were in the streets. I said, that's what you're told, because you only $3,000 a week is $150,000 a year. Go get a job. And they're like, oh, how could he make that money? You make one move and you make $20,000. Like, what were you doing wrong?
Right.
One card game, you make $30,000 in a night. Like, one Joker poker machine, you make $500,000 a month. Like, what were you? Who the fuck brought you up into the life? $3,000 a week, you go get a job. You become a manager at McDonald's, makes $200,000 a year. General manager, like, what are you doing in the street? If that's what you're doing in the street, then you deserve to go get a job, make a minimum wage. You shouldn't have been in the street. That's why you failed at it. That's why I don't talk bad about the life, because I knew the potential of it. And when I turned 18, I seen that potential, and I chose the street.
Right.
Even though my dream was to make $50,000 a year in the union, not $100,000. And I got it, and I got it from a guy who I didn't need the street. I didn't need to do anything but show up 6 to 2 every day, and I didn't have to do anything. I just had to sit there, and I chose the street. So when they show, I want you to show you the part where the guy chooses the street, because if they didn't show you that in the movie, you don't feel bad when he gets clipped at the end. Or when he goes bad, you feel bad for him. You say, no, he's a piece of shit, because they gave him his choice and he chose the street. And they don't show you that. The Godfather shows you Michael chooses the life. But they made him out to be a prince. He never went to jail, died of old age. That never happens. But that will happen for Carlo. But he could never spend his money. He drove an old car, and his only thing was he had his own license plate that said Gambino. That was like the only thing he ever splurged on. But that's my whole point. If they would show you that, it's called glorifying it. That a guy chose it. You know what I mean? They don't show you he's robbing all these trucks, he's robbing all these buildings. He could have got a union job with his connections. He could have went and worked for the city back then, or whatever it is. New York. I don't know how it works otherwise. But that's a big deal here. I know guys that got a 5th grade education make $200,000 a year in a union.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there is a choice. There is. A lot, it might, you get to a certain part where you don't have a choice. Yeah. But there's a choice where you can be on the outside looking in, or you can be on the inside suffering. And we always choose the inside suffering.
Right.
There's only...
And while this is going on, deep down, it's wrong. But you chose this path.
Right.
And you have to write it out, good or bad. It's good when you're out there making money. It's bad when you go to jail and you're forgotten about, or you're hit with a case and you're getting a life, 30 years, 40 years, But there's nothing glamorous about the life, or romanticized like these movies.
It's 5 minutes of glamour and 23 hours and 55 minutes of misery. That's how I put it.
Yeah.
It's 5 minutes of glory.
Nothing romantic about it.
The couple nights a week you went out for the year, and then you're looking at 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So.
Like the day it really hit me, I was all gung-ho for the war, till, doing wild things. And now I'm in my cell. First major case, bullshit cases before this. And my PSI comes back, level 43. Now, in the sentencing guidelines, federal guideline book, it's a chart. Okay? It goes from 1 to 43.
What's PSI?
A pre-sentence report.
Pre-sentence report.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that report is what the judge takes to how he's going to sentence you. So pretty much it has to go by a book. They took the power away from the judges when they had the new law. And he would look at the thing and say, okay, he did this. On this chart, it's that. First time offender is this. The crime carries this. And then, okay, that's his sentence. 80 months to 120. It goes like that. I got mine, level 43, first time out the box with a real case. The only thing is life.
It's like 300 years.
It's
you start
life.
looking at the years.
It's life. It's release upon death. And that's when it hits you in the cell. And if Greg Scarpa was an informant for 30 years and all the stuff came out after, we're rotting away.
We wouldn't be here.
No, my daughter wouldn't be sitting outside waiting for me right now. I'd be rotting away in Lewisburg. Probably be in shape, but
Fuck that.
that's all I did
I'd
there.
rather be a fat guy right now.
Yeah, exactly. But,
But you're right. I think,
and that's when it hits you.
Set the guideline. When you get your probation report back, the probation always recommends 50 years, 70 years.
Oh yeah, well,
That's the most insane fucking thing.
a couple of different murders put it at 43.
We love all this stuff. This is all great, man. We're having such a good time. We want to share with you guys some YouTube comments that some people have left on the previous videos that we've done with you guys.
Don't get upset.
It's not from
they're
us.
all negative. There are guys.
There's no positive.
No, there are. I was about
There
to
is,
say
there is.
there are
Is
guys.
there?
There are
Okay,
people that have
non-positive.
watched your stuff that love it. They comment. You could go on our videos and see them. We don't want to pull those out. We want to take some of the negative. More for comic
Negative's
relief.
always good for ratings.
Yes,
It's
and
just
if you
fun.
want, and how we just kind of left off what you just said was a perfect way to end the show, but because it's the truth, what you just said, how it hit you, and same thing, everything you're saying. I'm not getting the vibe, and I hope our audience doesn't miss this. You're not glorifying it. You're
No,
you're
not at
saying
all.
how bad it is. Both
The
of
problem
you.
is when it's authentic, it feels glorified.
Right.
It's just authentic. It's as real
Yeah.
as it gets. You're gonna get into a conversation with two guys that've been there.
Yeah.
He was sitting, the most I was looking at was 30 to life. He was looking at release upon death.
Yeah.
So
So, but we do want to get this YouTube thing going because we did the same thing with our friend Sammy, and it went really, really well. So we thought we'd do the same thing with you guys.
he
ask,
already went Hollywood. He's dropping names. My friend Sammy. Come on, take that back. You got to edit that. That's like
That's hilarious.
Why?
Madonna.
Why?
You go for tea with him? You met him twice.
Twice.
My friend.
He said he's my friend.
You got to break bread with guys
He said
before
he's
you
my
call him
friend.
their friend. You said
We
my
had,
friend Sammy.
we had donuts. We
All
had
right.
donuts together.
I got the first one. Hootie, this one's for you.
Yeah, I get a ton of them.
This one's for you. Hold on. So just don't get upset at me. It's not me, okay?
Just read it.
This dude wasn't a gangsta. He used to get on one knee and tie their shoes. He was an errand boy. What do you have to say to that?
Well, like said, Frankie said, "Did you ever see me run an errand when you came around?"
No, he was a mover in the street.
Errand boy. I used to say I was the only guy that never had to be a driver or pick up laundry. I went right in. I wouldn't have, you got to remember, I went into the life at 18.
Yeah.
They were already best friends and established. I wouldn't have went in if I had to go in that way. I was accepted right away. Because when I went in, nobody earned in my crew. I was the biggest earner. They were all driving their parents' car still, and I was driving a brand new Lexus.
Yeah.
So I was already earning big money in a different world. And I got involved with them. We got into marijuana and bookmaking. They didn't even get started yet. They were still living with, every one of my friends was still living with their parents.
Fair enough.
I mean, people could say I wasn't who I was, which is bullshit because I always came from, but an errand boy is like reaching.
Reaching, eh?
That's just like a girl probably
Let me-
hates because I wouldn't take her out.
I'll ask Frankie the next one, then you can ask them both.
No, go through Anthony's, and then we'll go through all of Frankie's together.
Okay, fair enough.
But this is good because now you could verify each other. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have this one here. So never. So wait, with this one, we're doing Hootie right now.
Do only
Only
right now.
Got it. So I got one right here. It says, "Never a member of the Gambino crime family. Not one single solitary day in his life. Not one."
I was never a member. I never got straightened out. I was part of a crew.
Yeah.
So that's legit.
Yeah, I was never on record.
Well, he was part of my cousins.
Yeah, I was part of a crew.
My cousins are from there.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me see.
But I never claimed to get straightened out.
This one. The podcast just wasted an hour of their time allowing this putz to talk like this. He knew when guys were going to be made. He knew everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My crew was the only crew to ever know
For real?
when they were getting straightened out. Yeah, absolutely. I was
How
there.
did they know that? Because you're there?
Well, my friend's father was the captain. So he told them it was I could never came to my house. They were happy about it.
Yeah.
But there was a difference. The crew came before the family. Our crew stuck together. We were real tight like that.
Yeah.
So it was like when one guy got it, we all got it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sounds good. I got the next one. Next time, ask him about the big book deal, LOL. 3 different writers sat with him afterwards, started doing their fact checking, and dropped him because of all of the fake stories, LOL.
My writer died of cancer in the middle of the book.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it just didn't get released yet. The guy's in Canada. He's
So
doing the book.
There's your answer,
Oh.
whoever
Oh,
left that video.
Yeah. Griffin. Dennis Griffin was my author. That's it. It was me and him. We were co-writing it.
And he passed away.
Passed away the first summer.
Well, I bet the person
Yeah.
that's leaving this comment is going to feel like shit
And then
when
there
they
was
hear that.
only legal allegations is stopping me from releasing it. Because
Okay.
I have legal issues right now, what we talked about in the beginning.
Right.
Got it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's all bullshit. I don't even know 3 authors.
Yeah.
I'm not that popular.
But yeah, those are the
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
Some of them that were from your
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
But that's where you could tell it's personal
Yeah.
because they're mad. Who
Yeah.
talks about book deals?
No,
and
for
who makes up 3 writers? I don't know 3 authors.
So you think that's someone who,
Yeah.
who may know something about
Mhm.
you, like legit, like you may know them?
Oh yeah. That
For
sounds
sure.
like bitter women. Don't sound
For
like
real.
men.
Interesting.
What guy uses putz?
What does that even mean?
It's a Jewish term for like idiot.
Oh,
It's a Jewish saying.
Okay,
Like
got
Jews
it.
say that. Jewish people call people, hey, you're a putz. You never hear the old man?
Hit me with mine.
Putz.
You ready for mine? No, hit me with mine now.
Frankie,
I want
You know,
mine.
Frank, I never heard anybody say anything bad about you.
Well, we're gonna hear now.
I know.
you know the thing is, honestly, I thought yours were like worse. Like,
They are
But-
pretty bad, but you could tell it's
but
it's
they
venom.
tell they're bad. Yeah,
They're
like
venom.
Yeah, yeah.
It ain't like, I was in the cell with Hootie and he got it up his ass.
I feel like
You know what I mean? Like, this is like, he had 3 authors. They're just exaggerating. I never even knew 3 authors.
It's like I'll take
Thank
it.
you. I'll take it. That's some recognition.
So what? Like this one. This reminds you of the 3 authors. Like this guy's saying magazines, not clips. Modern weapons use capitalized magazines. God, that drives me crazy. These guys use weapons and should know this.
That's coming from either an NRA guy or
That's
law
something
enforcement.
stupid.
I honestly
Guys
do not
all
know the
it.
difference
Now,
between that.
if you do know anybody in the mafia, they said it in Sons of Anarchy. Well, the Italians only take small caliber weapons. Small caliber weapons, 9mm down with clips,
With clips,
not magazines.
not magazines.
We didn't drive around with AK-47s. That don't even make sense.
Yeah.
What's funny? You were driving around with Tech 9s?
Only during the war.
And Tech 9 was a clip, not a magazine.
Yeah.
Now this other person said the quality of a gangster, he makes it sound like they are to be admired. They are criminals who deserve to die in prison, and many did.
Well, he's half right. Okay. As far as I'm not glorifying anything, but the quality, like I explained it, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it changed. Of course, I used the word quality. What should I say?
But it's your opinion.
Yeah.
I admire them
Yeah.
to this day. The
Yeah.
the gangsters that I do.
Yeah.
Which you can
Yeah.
admire them. We're not telling anybody else to
Yeah.
admire them,
No.
right? I mean, we make that clear when I speak, and that's why he said, I'm speaking for myself from what I know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the wise guys I grew up with, I admired.
And
I'll go
when
to
I
my
say
grave with
quality of guys, the quality of how things changed when I said that, whatever you took that from.
Yeah.
I wasn't glorifying it. I'm the last one to glorify it. So
Yeah, you don't.
it wasn't that bad.
You see, glorifying is talking about the life when you're not involved in it. You always speak of it from your experience. So you just be glorifying your own life. So when people talk like that, most of the time it's just a fucking left-wing maniac.
Yeah, he interpreted my response
Right.
to something that it really.
Like you were talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
how I admired Lucky Luciano. I don't even know
Yeah.
the fucking guy.
Yeah.
So this next comment, the last one for you, it's a long one. I can even comment on this because you helped us with something with this person. But again, I want you to clarify this. I mean, this guy's talking like he was a key part in the war. I've never heard of this dude. Larry Matza tells the story of the war, and he was in it. You look up the Colombo family chart, This guy isn't on it. Not even under associates that are key, quote unquote. Larry is though. I don't know. I got to do more research. He tells some of these stories exactly like Larry does. With the phone call, they thought was someone else. I don't know. I got to do more research. Larry was the one who pulled the trigger on Nikki Black.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't know where he's looking, but there's charts all over YouTube.
You were on a bigger indictment than Larry Mazza.
Yeah, no, he was.
He was on the indictment with Craig, but you were on the indictment before that.
Yeah, but we had 5 indictments, and they broke it up in groups of 10.
But you were sitting in Allenwood without being indicted on that stupid case.
No, on the stupid case.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this now. As far as the charts, I'm on charts. This guy doesn't know where to look. I could pull one up right now and show you. That's number one. Apparently, he's very small in his search because you could just read around the internet and you could see everything. And as far as the war, I mean, let him go look at the interview with me and Larry. And then that'll answer his question.
And you introduced us to Larry.
Yeah, I'm the one who set you up with Larry.
So we know it's legit.
Yeah, but there's hundreds of guys that aren't talked about that were in that war.
For sure.
You know,
so
but
many
you know
guys.
What? Besides that, I'm going to get into that. You see, like these people making these comments? You could eliminate all these comments if there was a way to, when they make a comment, you could just hit it and see their address.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'll see how the whole thing of trolling will stop tomorrow.
Okay.
And as far as everybody saying they were part of the war, I was listening to something about this Raimondi, something.
Oh, he's nobody.
He was saying that he was part of the war. I've never seen the guy in my life.
Says Lucky Luciano was his cousin. He said he killed over 170 people.
Yeah,
and
no,
not
300,
counting Vietnam.
300.
Well, not counting Vietnam. Then Vietnam, he was a sharpshooter and he tattooed all the people he killed. The guy was nobody. I know people that know people's families that went back. They don't even have a clue who that guy is.
Wow.
Get the fucking... He looks like a biker.
Yeah. Another dude on YouTube?
Yeah, so there's not too many people I talk about because I know guys that just jerk-offs that were in the life, but they're just jerk-offs. That guy was the furthest thing. He was the furthest thing from the life.
What's this?
From YouTube.
Oh, he's right there.
Yeah. You just go under the indictments.
Yeah, I mean,
I tell people that all the time.
And they can go right on, they can Google my indictment.
We have verified it, even though we did not doubt it. Just for the YouTuber that left that
he's not on a chart
comment.
Anywhere.
I just saw his name on a chart.
I wonder who the person even that writes that. He's not on a chart. Who even talks like that?
Some guy who just learning about mob stuff from YouTube.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And movies.
Guys, do you want to leave our audience like with one last final message? If you want to promote something.
Life is glorious.
No, there's nothing glorious about it.
No, I'm breaking balls. I'm making fun of the guy.
Yeah.
Glorious. It doesn't even exist.
I mean,
I got nothing to add.
There's so much to say, but how do you leave off to touch everything?
Till next time.
No.
Listen, I just say this, and the life don't exist. The streets are made for movies. Today is a different era. I can only tell what the people said before me to me. There's more money in the real world than there is on the streets. That's the best way I could put it.
Mm.
In today's day and age, with technology, social media, the internet, no one should be broke today. Everyone should have a job with something to do with technology or a side hustle. No one should be broke in today's day and age. And you can make a lot more money legitimate than illegal today because you don't have a shot with the government.
No, I hear it all. Now I hear the things that guys were making in the streets. I'm like, holy shit, why were you even a criminal?
You don't have a shot.
These guys were broke.
It's not fair. The technology is enormous. And if you do get a run, it's not going to last long. So save your money before you start buying everything because you're going to need it for lawyers.
Can't say no better way. Lawyers, that's all I need. I need more lawyers. I don't need gangsters. I need lawyers. I don't need tough guys.
And there's nothing romantic about the life like the TV makes it.
Nothing's romantic about crime.
It's really,
Doesn't pay.
It's really
like that lady that was on Get Gotti. I watched the first 20 minutes of the first episode. She was
The
like,
reporter that was like,
no, the blonde lady who was apparently in the life.
All right, somebody said, "Who is this lady?"
I said the
read
same
something. Who is this lady?
she said she hung out with them. She went out with them.
That's
just
what Michael said. He said on
whoever-
his show, he's like, she's lying.
She's lying.
I don't know what she's doing.
No, she's lying.
She might have been somebody's gumada.
Maybe.
She could have been somebody's
Listen,
gumada.
she might have been somebody's.
Third roll down the line.
Listen, she might be somebody's gumada, but whoever produced this show
Yeah.
threw her in it.
Yeah, I don't know what they did.
I don't know what they were
Because
thinking.
I can tell you everybody from that crew, who they were fucking.
You
who
see,
that grew up
Netflix.
with.
What Netflix needs to do, they need to reach out to the guys that are on YouTube and put a round table together, and it'll be one of their biggest shows.
Why don't we forget Netflix? Why don't we do it?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Everybody
Millennial
gets
Choice
paid.
Show.
Everybody gets paid.
But you
and we
could
set it up
next
right.
time you come to New York, you could set it up.
Yeah, but are you guys gonna be able to have John in the room with Sammy?
No, John hates Sammy.
I
hate
know,
each
but that's
other.
what I'm saying.
But you could have Gene in the room with Sammy. They get along. You could do a 2-part.
yeah, it could be done.
Imagine
If it's
the
done-
numbers.
Because
That would do.
those errors, you got to break the errors up the right way. Sammy was the error before John. John was the error before me. I was the error before Gene. You know what I mean? You got to
Right.
do it because then you see people telling it a different way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which is good because there's always different perspectives.
Right.
You could tell it with different eras, with different old guys, some dinosaurs that are left that are on YouTube, and you could do it with different boroughs.
Yeah, that's good
And
too.
with that like that, it'd be a great
Yeah.
show, not this clown show with this lady.
Like, see, like in my era, so I went to jail. When I was on the street, there was a lot of made guys, but you knew the hierarchy. There was certain made guys that abused other made guys, so you knew how it went. And then when I came home from jail, they were either, some died, some went to jail, and there's one guy, and I'm like, that guy used to get abused by everybody, and now everybody's looking up to that guy. Yeah. So that younger generation, who might be ballsy kids and tough kids, are telling me who's their guy, and I'm like, that guy's a jerk off. Like, that guy, they wouldn't even sit and break bread with that guy. Right. I like him, but he's not a street guy to me, even though he's made. But so I can't give you the same perspective that a killer might give you, because he looked up to that guy. I know the guy's a deadbeat, never paid his bills, like things like that. So that's what you're gonna get when you separate them. You know what I mean? And then he's with the Colombos. They clipped guys for stealing. You know what I mean? I was with the Gambinos. They were more crew orientated than family. The Gambino family came second because everybody seen John do that by taking his family's side and clipping the boss because the boss was going to have them clipped.
Right.
So that mentality went around where the crews were selfish and put the family second and put more money. And that's where it was the downfall, because the family's supposed to get 75% and you're supposed to keep 25%. And it went where now I'm keeping 75% and giving the family 25%. Guys would just give made guys and captains everything they earned for brownie points. They'd leave themselves. I seen guys leave themselves broke to kick up. I seen guys kicking up to guys in jail and leaving themselves broke on the street. You know, and then that guy came home and straightened out a few guys. And I mean, I never respected that because I knew those guys didn't deserve it. But they took all their money. And that's the thing. You just got to feed your rabbi. And that's how it was starting to work. And that's where everything went bad.
All right, I came back 15 years later. Guys who I knew were nothing. Now they're monsters. And they never did nothing. Never broke a grape.
That's my point.
You know?
So if you're sitting at a table now with a kid who is a killer, and he looked up to that guy because he didn't know better, you can't have the same perspective of the streets as he does. And I'm not saying he's wrong and I'm right. We both could be right, but looking at it from different lenses.
Exactly.
So when you put two guys in a room that see it totally different, I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. They just seen it differently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Because I know Sammy. Sammy only kept people around him shooting and making money. He didn't hang out in social clubs. He didn't go to dinners. He didn't have a gumada. He was earn. He wore work boots. He was always at his construction business. And he only kept guys around him that he could send out to clip guys or send out to get money. That's who Sammy was. And I know that for a fact because they can say what they want today. But I listen to the old timers talk.
And then
Sammy had a lot of fear.
And then you guys know who John is, right?
Oh, John's a killer. I know John. And I'm not friends with John. John's older than me. He came from a different generation. But my generation, there wasn't one person on the street that wasn't scared of him.
Wow.
Yeah, he clipped the guy in broad daylight in front of everybody. The guy was a killer. Can't take that away from him. And I'm talking about my era had a lot of scary guys, and they were scared of him. They were 100%. I could say that. And he's not my friend. I don't go to dinner with him. I know who he is. We don't have a problem. I'm just saying this, like, I'm not sticking up for a guy I grew up with. He's a lot older than me. But I knew my generation would not fuck with him and his money.
Yeah, I knew him well.
So,
And he was no joke.
Yeah.
In the street.
you know, and you can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
You know, but I had a guy who was a legitimate tough guy, and he was afraid. He was a boxer too, and he was afraid to get in the ring because if he got punches on Sammy, he thought he'd get clipped walking out of the boxing gym. And he was a tough guy because that's what Sammy had. And this was in the 80s and the 70s. I'm talking about an old timer. And that's who Sammy kept around him. He kept shooters and money.
Yeah.
You know, whatever he is, I don't know him personally. I know him by reputation. And he's got 20 murders. Regardless if the guy ordered them or did them, that means he had enough respect in the street to order 20 murders. That's enough power for me. That's right. You don't have to convince me of anything else. And then you got these kids, he killed a kid, he did this, he did that. You got to understand something. They're not choir boys, they're criminals. Once in a while, something's going to go wrong. But we don't go out and pick on the everyday civilian. And I'm not putting we as I'm involved with Sammy. Right. Is there people say that, yeah, an innocent person, you clip 20 people, one of them's going to be innocent. Accidents do happen. I'm not saying it's right. But you're not talking about choir boys. These are stone cold killers. These are criminals. The guy did 20 years in a box. Got Graves' disease and everything. The guy's a stone. He was a treasure in the mafia. Like, the mafia. Like, are you guys kidding me? Like, I don't see people do that. He killed him. He's a killer. What do you think they do?
Yeah.
We're not going to see who's going to be president of the PTA. Like, we're not voting for the PTA here.
Sure.
Like, when I see people write that, they're like, oh, he was a scumbag. He did it. Of course he did. He's a fucking criminal. It bugs me out. What are you trying to make the guy out to be a martyr? I just don't understand when people say that. Why are you promoting this guy? The whole fucking, what are you talking about? All YouTube is all mafia. Who am I promoting? Who am I supposed to promote?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Padre Pio. Like, they're not saints. I just don't get that when people say that. Oh, he did this, he did that. Okay. Isn't that why you listen to him? You don't want to listen to a guy who didn't do anything wrong. You want to listen to the guy who did things wrong. Nobody wants to listen to the goody two-shoes. Everybody wants to hear about the evil and the bad because they can't go out and do it. So they want to hear about it. They want to.
Yeah, they live vicariously through the YouTube podcast.
Right. And then they want to make remarks like, well, he's a scumbag. He killed somebody. He killed 20 people.
It's true.
That's a criminal, you know? And I don't know Sammy from Adam. I'm just using him as a for instance, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's for me. That was all I was gonna ask. How about you? You're good?
No, all good, man. Guys, this was amazing.
Guys, New York. We came all the way to New York. We left our families. We appreciate you guys doing this. Yeah. We had a good time. We're gonna break bread next.
You left your families to come interview us. You're in New York, buddy. Take it easy. Best cuisine. Oh, we left our wives and kids to talk to Frankie, Steele, and Hootie. Get the fuck out of here. I know you wore a sport coat for me.
Come on, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
This guy wore white after Labor Day for me.
I don't know why he did that. No, but we appreciate you guys.
Had a great time. Thank you for me in person.
Likewise. Yeah.
This was good.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Maybe we'll do a part 3.
Yeah.
And we're out. Until next time.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Toronto, hit me up, baby. Throw some smoke at you. That's what she said.